do you have any advice for startups that want to somehow be able to maybe not even just deal with this, but actually maybe get some advantage from it?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I mean, I certainly don't have the full answer, but I think there is a few, and always, there's always surprising new things that come out. But I think there's a few things to focus on. So first of all, I think from a, I guess, CTO perspective or engineering leadership perspective, I think it's important to have people that are not falling too much in love with a certain technology and also flexible to kind of throw everything away they've built so far if there's a new model coming out, even though they worked like a couple of months on this. So kind of not going into the sunk cost fallacy. I think that's super important, and that mindset needs to be in the whole engineering team, and also being totally fine to use open source, use whatever is out there to be um, as efficient as possible. I think that's one thing. I think the second thing is um, basically thinking really from the perspective of the big cloud providers of what might be on their roadmap, and putting yourself in their shoes. And I mean, you see what they've published so far, so you can build your own mental prediction model of where they will probably go next, and see, is this something? If I think about all the different things they could do, is this something they might publish soon? I think the other part is, if you think about model performance, I mean, for some applications, maybe your AI model is not good enough yet. And I mean, I see a lot of people like saying concerns, I don't know, there's still hallucination with language models and, things going wrong. And here, there are always some bad examples, but there I make it always very simple. I just look at like kind of the historic plot of like some accuracy score and then just like extrapolate it. And even though there's diminishing returns, usually there's some bumps, ups and downs, but usually that gives you a good indicator of how much better things will get. And you might not know how things get better and who will invent it, and if it takes a month longer, a couple of months longer or not, but like, things get better. There's enough people working on it. So kind of extrapolating performance on these technologies gives you also, even if you don't know how we get there, gives you also an indication of what might happen in the future and how that might maybe make some of your technology obsolete, or might be another technology that suddenly maybe replaces what you're doing. So I think that's another kind of paradigm to give. And I actually, when I think about business cases, I always think about like, what if the AI model was perfect? Would the business case that make sense? And then I try to work back first and are like, okay, assuming it doesn't work that perfect yet, but like pretty decent, can I still engineer the workflow in a way that my customer is happy? And then as the AI model gets better, my value proposition to the customer hopefully also gets better.